I am recording this just after the big announcement of the indefinite shutdown of the LittleBigPlanet servers. And obviously, a lot of people are very upset and very angry about this news, and the reasons why it's happened, and the way it's all been communicated, and rightly so. I am totally with everyone who feels like that. But look, I've already done my fair share of reminiscing about how and why this franchise became such an important part of my life. I ended my last LBP video with a little snippet of that. Go and watch the last few minutes of that if you want the emotional stuff. What I want to do now, instead of that, is just have a look at some of the levels that I made in these games over the years, more for the sake of preservation and posterity than anything else, so I'll still have a way to look back on this stuff in the future. But hopefully it might be interesting for other people too. Some of these are going to be levels that I published a long time ago. Probably a lot of them will be very unfinished things that I wouldn't have ever shown much of before. But basically just anything I can still access in some way on my PS4 in LittleBigPlanet 3, which is far from everything that I've ever made, but it's what I have available at the moment. And I want to start with this level, Escape from the Underground Temple of Destiny. This was not the first level that I ever made, but this is a bit of a special one for me because it was sort of the first big project that I did. I spent quite a long time working on this, on and off. It's one of very few levels that I ever made and like fully completed and published that I made completely solo on my own with no help, and like it wasn't for a contest or any kind of community thing. It's just a level that I made because I wanted to make a level. So we'll see what happens here. Tra-la-la. What a beautiful day. There is quite a lot of dialogue. This is intended to be the player talking. This is a LittleBigPlanet 1 level, if that wasn't obvious. First, I think, published appearance of that Cogmonkey logo before I ever started using it as a username, which I somewhat regret now. The sun is shining. The birds are singing. Oh my god, the ground is falling apart. And then, oh my god, there's a lot of dialogue. Did you see there was a little cameo reference on the way down there? So yeah, this level I did spend quite a lot of time on. I don't remember exactly when I finished it and published it. I would estimate it was around about 15 years ago. I think there's supposed to be some kind of face on the wall there and those two lights with the eyes, but LittleBigPlanet 3 broke it a little bit. I also think all of these switches and things are not supposed to be visible. That's another thing that happened when all these levels got transferred to the newer games. Oh, look at that golden Sackboy statue. I think there's, maybe 5 of them, maybe 3 of them, maybe 4 of them scattered around the level in awkward to reach places. But yeah, this level I made, or I published, around the time I started getting involved in the community, more than just like playing the game casually, because there was a period of time where I was sort of playing the game occasionally with some of the more famous creators who were already established in the community, hence the little reference I put in to my old friend X Kappa X. That's what the ghost was when I was falling down the pit. And people like Gruntos UK as well. I always loved his levels, and those two people with the sort of logos they had in game with the inspiration for the Cogmonkey logo. I thought, oh, I need a signature set of stickers that I can put in all my levels, and I'm still sort of using it now after a fashion. But yeah, I used to play with those guys occasionally, and they'd show me the levels they were making, and I would show them this while it was a work in progress. And they were the people who said, oh, you should join all these websites like LittleBigPlanet Central, and you can post your level there and get more people to play it. How do I get this? And so that would have been about 15 years ago, I think. It will be easier to date this level more specifically later on, when I can remind myself whether or not it includes anything that was introduced to the game in and around the Cornish Yarg update, which was, I happen to remember, 15 years ago last week, because I'm a big nerd and I remember things like this. Ah. Aha! See, the good thing about this being 15 years old is that at the time when I made this, I'd spent so much time playtesting it that I knew every single nook and cranny, every inch of this level, every tiny little secret. And now I don't remember anything, because it's been a long time since I played it. So I actually do have to deal with the puzzles that I set. This is quite nice. Okay, here we go. It's all been quite an old-fashioned, old-timey temple up until now, and suddenly, alligators. They might be crocodiles. I can't even remember if I made my own alligators or if I just used the ones from the Africa levels. Let's find out together. A huge water tank in an ancient temple, underground. Cool. Well, this is certainly long before the SpongeBob DLC, where you could put in like actual proper water in localized areas like this. I did make these, right? That looks like something I would make. And also, yeah, this is the tetherless jetpack, which was added in the creator pack that came out 1 week after Cornish Yarg, which will have been 15 years ago in a couple of days, because that was around the time I did start getting involved in the community, and that's when things like SatCast started happening. Ah, here's another one of these things. I don't know how these electricity hazards underwater are supposed to work. I don't think anything would be able to survive in this tank if there was any kind of electrical current flowing through it. But whatever, you can kind of see the daylight out there behind the wall. I'm going to blame that on the conversion to LittleBigPlanet 3. I'm sure everything in this level worked perfectly. I'm not sure about the way I've done the water here. I think everything else, I think the stone and the cloth, I think my use of materials in this level was I'm quite happy with it. The water, I could have spent more time on, probably. I don't know what part of the world this is supposed to be in. I don't know if... oh god, okay, that's a temporary thing. If, like the symbols in the walls, I don't know if I'm mixing and mashing culture here. I don't know if they're alligators or crocodiles. I should know these things. I live in a place where there are actually crocodiles, supposedly. So I should learn the difference, probably. I think a lot of the things I've done with this level, you may see as like recurring themes as I go into other levels I tried to make later that I never finished. I think it's not so obvious with this one, but certainly with a lot of the later levels I was making, many of which, as you'll see, were an attempt at sort of spiritual sequels to this one. A lot of them are sort of look at that, like a series of puzzle rooms in a way. A lot of levels were like this at the time. This game came out, I think, a year after Portal, and I think a lot of people took that as inspiration for how to lay out levels like this. I'm just pausing here for a second because I know there's something cool coming up, or I think it's cool. The problem is if you stand to watch this whole pan upwards, you do lose a few seconds on the race, so I could have positioned it a bit better. But like, this is the thing that you couldn't do properly until the sequel. This is a magic mouth stuck to a moving piston with a cutscene camera, and it's pretty fun. I like that. And there's some cool platforming things going on here that I think are nice. I do think the whole level should have been erased, really. I always think levels are better when they're timed. Okay, this all looks... I always like things like this, where something that's sort of a hazard to begin with turns into a platform to climb onto, and then it turns into a hazard again, and then it turns into a platform again. I love doing stuff like that. See, I've now lost the race because I stood around to watch the little cutscene thing I did. That's okay. I think there may be something over here. I'm now remembering. Here we go. Ah! Oh my god, did you see that? You know, something that's just occurred to me. It is really satisfying to play this level with this crown on the head. Just because, like, I know how much it would have meant to me at that age, you know, all those years ago when I was just starting out in this game. The idea that I'd ever get one of these crowns, it was such a rare, special thing. It was such a huge achievement whenever anyone got one of these. It was about 5, maybe 6 years after this level when I finally got one for myself, and it was not because of anything I'd ever done in-game. When I was making this level all those years ago, if someone told me I'd have one of these crowns one day, I would have been so happy. Obviously, I would have assumed, there we go, that it would have been for creating this level. I think this is worthy of a crown. I think I should get another one just for this level. Oh, this little key here. might be a spoiler that something's going on. Oh, that's quite nice. Look at that. I had this, like a broken up version of the platform at the bottom, and the one I was on disappeared just before I got here, and I think it all happens fast enough that it does give the illusion that it's crashed and broken. I don't know why it's on fire. There's a nice bit of subversion there. You think you're about to escape, but no, there's more stuff to do. This is quite a long level, actually. I'd forgotten. No wonder it took me so long. I'm actually surprised, like, knowing my history with this game, knowing the number of levels I started but never managed to finish, knowing the way that I usually had to work when I did actually finish levels, this is a bit of an anomaly, the fact that I ever finished this one at all. I'm still quite happy with this. I'm proud of this. I like this level. It's not the most exciting thing in the world. Those were all my other levels. Oh, look at that, I got all of them. Oh, what did I say? With a triumphant cheer, he burst into the sunlight. That shouldn't be gendered. Oh my god, look at all these points. It was worth it after all. Imagine if I'd actually not lost the race as well. How many points did I get for that? Loads. I'm free! Oh. And that's the ending. That's... Oh, I hate LittleBigPlanet 3. And how suddenly it ends levels. It's so annoying. There you go. I finally escaped, and what happened right at the end? I fell back down. It's a metaphor for life. I still really like that level. This is another level from a similar sort of era as that one. This is one that I've alluded to a few times over the years, but I don't think I've ever actually shown it properly in all the 15 years since I made it. What's this do? LittleBigPlanet Golf Club. What's that about? Why have I made this? Do I play golf? No. This is called LBP Golf EU Clubhouse. Why does it have a weird name? Because this was made for a contest a long time ago. This was a contest run by a long dead website called Little Big Workshop. It was sort of the official Sony forums back when that was a thing. I don't know if I can read the text here. There was a contest to make some kind of creative golf hole, and they were going to pick 9 or 18 people to be the winners. I think there was a set of winners from Europe and a set from the US. That's why I've got EU in the title. You could either make a hole, I guess I made a bit of a hole in this wall with this golf buggy, or you could make a clubhouse instead. And I thought, I'm not creative enough to make an interesting golf hole, so I'm going to make the clubhouse. I think it's a fair enough effort. I don't think it's the best thing that I've ever done with my life. I didn't win, which is fine. Oh, look at this, some more scrolling camera. This was a bit of a staple of mine, I guess. Do you recognise yourself in here? I think I know who all these people are. From here you can watch other... Oh yes, I see. I think a ball was supposed to roll into the hole while that was happening. It's fine. Some of these things don't work very well. Ah, help yourself to a sandwich or two. Thank you. What if I have 3? Oh. Okay, sorry. The issue that I had with this contest, the reason why I've always been a bit grumpy when mentioning it, I think these are supposed to be like skylights, I don't know how well that comes across, is because the person who won in this category, like the European Clubhouse, did a lot of things with their level that were very, very, very similar to mine, as I recall. And theirs was made and published later than mine. I don't remember exactly all the details now. I guess I'll never be able to play the level again to check, which is probably good for my mental health. But just things like, at the start I made some fountains out of paintballs and things like that. And it always annoyed me quite a lot that they won by seemingly taking a lot of inspiration from my level. But it's fine. It's fine. I'm over it now. It's 15 years ago. Let's never talk about it again. This is a pinball level, of course, because everyone made pinball levels when this game first came out. This is actually called The Return of Pinball. I made a pinball level very early on. Like, my original pinball level probably was like the 2nd or 3rd thing that I ever published, like on day 1 of playing the game. The reason why this is called The Return of Pinball is because after the Metal Gear Solid DLC came out, I opened up my pinball level and changed all the materials to be stuff from the Metal Gear Solid pack, because I just thought it was cool. I don't think I changed anything else about it. The original version of this was made very, very early on in the life of the game, and this would have been just after the DLC came out that I remade it, and it's great. Now this would have been my first sort of collaborative project that I was involved with. This is a level called Attack of the Evil Alien Chickens from Outer Space Part 2. There was 3 of us who worked on this series. There were 3 parts. We each did 1 part. I don't remember how much we were involved in like helping each other with the levels, because this was a time from before online create was a thing. I know this intro here was not made by me, but I don't remember who made it. One of the others made it. There might be some more things in it that were made by other people. I thought it might show all our names at the start. It didn't. As the description said, part 1 was made by someone called Bly or Hamster. I don't know what happened to him. It's been 15 years. Part 3 was made by someone called Backscratch, who became quite well known later on for coming up with the 3D layer glitch. At this point in time, long before that happened, he was just another one of the people I used to play the game with quite a lot. Part 1 of the story, I don't know if there's any way I can find footage of it. You get abducted by alien chickens. We're now being held prisoner by them. And now we've escaped. And this is kind of a terrible level. I feel nostalgia when I play it. And this was published. You know, there aren't many levels I've made that have been published. Now this big guy over here, who we're about to see, has cropped up in a few other places as well over the years. You might have seen him in other forms of media as well. I did make this entirely myself, this chicken, and it's one of my favourite things that I've ever done. Not just in this game, but in general. And I've just killed him, and that was it. I think that's the only actual enemy we meet in this level. That's something I've realised when I've been thinking about old levels that I made. I never put many enemies in. Like, there was the alligators in the temple level. There was nothing else in there. But I don't know, the thing I like most in this game is the platforming when it comes to playing levels. I like it when you're doing a platformer and there's a time limit, it's a race. I like beating high scores and stuff. It's not exactly, oh god, very interesting combat in this game, usually. Also, this isn't a very good example of platforming. This was very early on though. This, I'm sure, would have been before the temple level. Or I probably started that level before we came up with this idea. I don't know how this came about. I remember communicating about it a lot through the PS3 messaging system. I don't know how we ever managed to do any of this, actually. Oh god. I guess I'm not going that way. Can I go this way? Oh. What? Oh, I see, it comes and goes. Okay. The gas definitely looked a lot better in LittleBigPlanet 1. A lot of the visual effects do. Virus lab. Thank you, alien chickens. So they're producing some kind of virus, I guess. Bird flu? Maybe? Oh, who's this? I suppose before I kill you, I'm obliged to reveal our plans. We'll infect everyone on Earth with our chicken flu virus. Cool. That's basically it. This, I can tell from the design of this character, I did not make this guy. I don't know if I wrote that dialogue either. I don't know whose idea it was to do the chicken flu thing. Or should I be standing on this? This looks the same as the virus. It's 4 keys there. I wonder what those are for. As far as I recall, there was only 3 levels. Maybe there was 4. Okay, if we're going to look at collaborations, this is something that I have to cover as well. This is now moving on to LittleBigPlanet 2. I don't think there's anything else still intact that's interesting and worth looking at from LBP 1. This is possibly the first thing I actually published in LBP 2. This was about 3 years after that game came out. Oh god, look at him moving his mouth in the background. That's a bit creepy. But I had a bit of a break from the franchise during that time, which is why it took me a while to really do anything with the second game. This is a level called LBN Sack Quest. Tennis jumps. Can you make it? Do I need to talk about this? LBN was another dead website called Little Big Network. This was the entry made for one of their contests, which was, the contest was Sack Quest. You had to make 3 levels that together made a quest, an adventure. I made this along with a friend of mine, Dragon Varsity. This was done with Online Create, which means we made all 3 on my moon, and I still have access to all 3 of them. I may be the only person in the world who can currently play these levels, and I'm sure everyone's very jealous about that. That big old character you can see in the background, this was his first appearance. And I don't know if I have anything more I really want to say about him. If you've seen this character before and you didn't know his origin, this is it. Oh my god. There is supposed to be music in this level. It's a piece of music that was used in the final boss of the first LittleBigPlanet game. And in every single Every single patch they made for Little Big Planet 3, all of the patch notes always said, we finally fixed it so that music does work now. And every time I came into this level and I said, nope, you haven't done that. Please fix it. And they never, ever did in the end. So this level's even more depressing than it's supposed to be, because it's just all you hear is the booing. Do I need to explain the rationale behind this level? Do I need to tell the story again? Why am I so bad at jumping? I did make a version of this in the Little Big Planet 3 beta using Oddsock, and he's much better at wall jumping than Sackboy. Maybe I should have made that a permanent update. Okay, I've got to concentrate here because there's some tricky... You see, I told you I love platforming. Oh shit. This controller I'm using is dying. That's my excuse. I have a lot of problems with this controller. Oh my god. Am I right in thinking this is the third race that's appeared in one of these levels? And it's also the third time that I've run out of time before finishing the race. Okay, so I am actually gonna cheat to advance through the level because there's something about this controller and the little bit of latency that I'm playing with while recording that makes it absolutely impossible to do this successfully. He says, doing it perfectly first attempt here. I probably shouldn't be modifying this and overwriting it now that the online version is gone, because I'm messing with history. But who cares? No one else can ever play this again, so I can do what I want with it. Oh, maybe not. Listen, Little Big Planet 3's got a lot of issues, but at least when it says failed to load level, it doesn't mean the same thing it used to in the first game. Little Big Planet 1, when it first came out, if you got a message that said failed to load level, that was permanently gone forever, totally unrecoverable, properly corrupted. This time, with this game, it just means try again and you'll be fine. I'm not going to attempt to read any of the dialogue in these levels. Oh, here's some music. I don't think we started out... Oh my god. I don't think we started out with the intention of... Do we recognise that guy? Ah! Oh good, he drowned. Of making it a 3-part series and part of this contest. Look at all the trophies. But, oh good, more trophies. We decided there was fun to be had with the character of Mr. Key. We added in some dialogue there to sort of hint that there's more going on than meets the eye. And then you can continue the story in part 2. Part 2, I think, is the strongest entry in this series. Part 1 was just a bit of fun. Part 2 is where we said, hang on a minute, let's turn this into a story, let's enter the contest with this. Let's make a level that is impossible to play. Okay, there's an earthquake, there's some bombs. This is a lot more chaotic, a lot more detailed. Mr. Key just disappeared. I don't know where he went. I think I might have collected him. What level does he unlock? We'll never know now that the servers are gone. So this is the level where we decided to actually turn it into a proper thing, which is why there's so much more going on here. There's a lot more dialogue, a lot more characters. Oh no, there's a completely innocent wall blocking my way. I don't think there's anything else you can do apart from this. Which is kind of horrific, actually. Here's a wall that isn't too bothered about being killed, which is nice to see. I can no longer press the button on that screen. Doesn't matter anyway, because it doesn't work in Little Big Planet 3. Am I stuck here? Oh, I've got to go back. Oh, good. Oh yeah, look, we did put in a way to get back if you ever fall down here. Here's me. These levels are all locked, but the padlock looks wrong in Little Big Planet 3. I think there's some implication that Mr. Key can unlock those levels. God, this is a nightmare to do with the way that I'm currently playing this. There's a bit of dialogue there that's censored. It wasn't supposed to be. It just comes from the style of writing we used for the dialogue. I don't know if I've ever revealed what Mr. Rooster's missing word was there. It's actually the word trapped, but because we misspelled everything, it turned into something that was caught by the censor, and we just never changed it. Mean old Mr. Key, look, stop trying to read. Stop trying to read this dialogue, it's horrible, I hate it. There are enemies in these levels. Maybe it's because I was making them with someone else. Do you know who that guy is? That's a bit of a throwback. Oh, I'm about to lose another race. That's good. What is the quest? Has he explained what the quest actually is supposed to be? I don't know. I feel like that's quite an important part of something called Sat Quest. You should know what your quest is. But I guess we're going to find out now. Oh no. Here's the shocking twist. And the super awesome worm. Obviously. Heferdugtzer, I think is the pronunciation. So Mr. Key is doing like heart for heart. He's stealing hearts from people. I think that's the story. He promises to heart for heart people, but he never hearts anyone back. And all the hearts he gets, he feeds to his pet worm. I think that's his big evil plan. Oh good, more trophies. So obviously, part 3 begins with you being eaten by the worm. And now we're inside the worm. And Mr. Key's name has changed to Mr. Keyville. I forgot about that detail. Now this level, the first 2 were very collaborative between me and DV. I do want to take a lot of credit for at least what's coming up in the next area here. I mean, DV created the character of Heferdugtzer. Mr. Key is my child, of course. DV made the worm. I made this boss fight. We decided very late on in the day to enter this competition. And so, this is a terrible boss fight, by the way. That's why I feel okay taking credit for it. It was very close to the deadline. We decided we actually wanted to do something for this. We'd made the first 2 levels together, and then we had like 12 hours or something till the deadline. And like DV had to go to bed or something. I'm an insomniac, so I didn't do that. And I just stayed up all night. And I made this whole boss fight in one sitting. That's why it's kind of terrible. I mean, in theory, it's possible to get infinite points in this level, because they just keep spawning while you're playing the boss fight. I'm pretty sure this level is impossible to complete without dying, though, just because of how hard it is to avoid these lasers. This part, you've just got to wait for this switch to be activated, which I don't think is good game design. I don't think it's obvious that that's what's happening here. You've just got to wait for a while. But, there we go. I think it's obvious enough once something happens that you can interact with. I think actually, apart from the fact that there is infinitely spawning points in this area, I think somewhere near the end there's something you can do. Maybe if you've got 2 players, there's like a legitimate way to get infinite points really quickly. Anyway, at this point, he starts using the platforms from the first 2 levels as weapons against you, which I think is a fun idea, if I do say so myself. I think this might be... I think all I've got left to do is pull that lever. And... just about got it. And this is something that people don't like to talk about. But Mr. Key's dead. I just blew him up. He's dead. Canonically, he is dead. He died 10 years ago. This level was... I can tell you it was March 2014 we made this, because I remember very vividly it was April Fool's Day when Mr. Key followed me on Twitter, and that was sort of the start of him becoming a bit of a cultural phenomenon. The sad truth is, he was already dead before that happened. Before he became a meme, he was already dead. I don't know if the worm's dead or not. That guy's definitely dead, though. Oh, I'm actually going to finish a race. I forgot I was being timed. And there we are. There's me and DV. This is before I got the crown. Obviously, it's this series that I got the crown for. Here we are, just 2 friends having a little dance. Look at all the trophies we won. Oh. I don't think I'm going to say any more about Mr. Key. But there you go. That is where he came from. And that's how he met his end. Now this, again, is LittleBigPlanet 2. This is a level that never got finished. We're into that portion of my creations. This is called Facility 14. That was a sort of working title. The 14 comes from the fact that I was making it in 2014. So this again is 10 years old, and you might see something a little bit familiar about the way this level starts. Very similar to Escape from the Underground Temple of Destiny. A shout out to this website, by the way, which still exists. Again, here's my logo, which I'm still using. Oh god. Yep. Exactly the same thing again. except this time it's a more industrial sort of thing. This is a level that I spent a lot of time working on. Real water this time, not the jetpack thing that I was using earlier. But yeah, I spent a lot of time working on this level, and I don't remember why I never quite got done with it. It's very unfinished. I played through this not that long ago, because actually I had the idea to make a video where I just played a lot of my old levels before the thing happened with the servers. There's a lot of pipes and things in this level that are difficult to get in and out of. There was a lot of problems with getting this working in LittleBigPlanet 3, actually. Hopefully this is the version where I fixed them all. But yeah, I don't know, I suppose the fact that I was making this in 2014, as I said, I didn't start playing... Wait, what am I supposed to do here? I didn't start playing LittleBigPlanet 2 until a long time after it came out, for various reasons. So I guess I started making this in LittleBigPlanet 2, and then LittleBigPlanet 3 was announced, or maybe I kept working on it until the game came out. I was like, well, I want to use all the new stuff from that game, and there's none of that in here. So I thought it just wasn't an interesting level that was worth finishing. I should have done. But yeah, this is the kind of thing I was talking about before, the sort of, you go through different rooms doing different puzzles. This one, I quite like that, the bubbles kind of pointing in back, telling you to backtrack a bit. That's the kind of thing I like doing. I mean, it's a bit boring in this instance, but like seeing bits of a level that you can't get to yet, going back to bits of a level that you've been to before. Grapple hook is invisible, I guess, in this game. That's good. Oh, it works here though. Don't know why. I don't think the lighting's very good in this, but it's all very unfinished. I was doing all the gameplay stuff before worrying too much about what it looks like. Oh, what's going on here? It's not that long since I played this, but it's still, I think, some quite confusing level design, actually. And like, sometimes these pipes are just background things. Sometimes you're supposed to go in them. Sometimes water comes out of them. Sometimes balls come through them. There's still a lot of things about this level that I do really like. And it's probably one of the most complete, at least in terms of gameplay, of all the levels I started but never finished. Yeah, I think it was mostly just about the timing of LittleBigPlanet 3. I didn't want to keep working on this when everyone else was making really cool new levels using all the new features from LBP 3. So can you see that dusty old LittleBigPlanet Central logo? This I had to do a lot of work with to get working in LBP 3, actually. A lot of the things in this level use a glitch that was known as Thek and Thak, meaning like Sackboy thickness and checkpoint thickness. This back plate to the checkpoint here is glitched to be a kind of thickness that no object is supposed to be. That caused a lot of problems with these bubbles. It couldn't get past them, so you had to collect every single bubble for the lift to work. So it took a very long time to get up here. Every single bubble on here I think I had to de-physicalize to make it work in this game. Now this wheel coming up here, oh, this is a bit of a nightmare, actually. This wasn't the first time I built something like this. There was several unfinished LittleBigPlanet 1 levels that I don't have any access to at the moment, but that I might put clips of in somewhere. Partially inspired by the bunker wheel, because that's such an, oh god, that's such an iconic part of the first game. But also specifically the layout of this with the two sort of rings of platforms. I don't think I'm supposed to go down there. I need to, there's a gap in the top, that's where I should be. Actually came from Ratchet and Clank Tools of Destruction, the PS3 game. Oh no, I think I'm supposed to be going down here, aren't I? I see what's going on. Because that was one of the first PS3 games I played shortly before LittleBigPlanet came out, so it's sort of fresh in my mind. I saw the wheel. I haven't played that game for a very long time. I just remember there's a wheel that looks a bit like this, and I thought, oh, that's an interesting idea. And then I kept putting it into levels that I never finished, and eventually it ended up in this level that I never finished. I think this part of the level is a bit too tricky. Again, it's not that clear what you're supposed to do, and the cycles are a bit, oh my god, inconsistent. I don't think everything's moving at the same speed. Okay, so you pull the switch there, and then it's really hard to see, but the gaps in the electric field around the edge. Oh, I've got a grapple hook, I didn't even realise. But yeah, it's not that obvious where the gaps in the wheel are, and they keep rotating, and oh my god, why am I bothering to try and do something that's clearly super broken when I could just go into create mode and cheat? So here we are. There's not much beyond that point, I don't think. There's a ball that falls down there and it goes up there, and then it rolls around there. That's quite nice, actually. Hang on, let's just cheat. You pull down here. Oh, and it just magically continues to roll because physics. And there we go. I never got beyond that point. So I don't know, maybe this is when LittleBigPlanet 3 got announced, or this is when the beta started. One of those things, I think. Was this the only level I made that was in a similar style to Escape from the Underground Temple of Destiny? I don't think so. Facility 15. So I guess after LittleBigPlanet 3 came out and I gave up on that other level, I simply tried to make a LittleBigPlanet 3 version. I don't remember how far I got with this version. I clearly hadn't put in the whole cutscene where the ground actually opens. And then I guess I hadn't put in any of the actual level either. Here's another one, very similar. Ah, what a beautiful day. The sun is shining, the birds are singing. Ah! Is there anything here? Interesting. So yeah, identical dialogue to the Underground Temple of Destiny. One of those golden idols in there as a little reference, even though if I ever finished this level, no one who ever played it would have been aware of that level from many years earlier on a different PSN. You can see I always really liked the idea, and I revisited it several times. And this is some terrible visual style, a bit difficult to see the difference between the background and the foreground, especially in these shadowy areas. And I've decided there isn't really any real reason to not be playing all of these in create mode, where it's much easier to cheat. I don't know why this microchip is so gigantic. Oh, I guess the lighting's wrong because I cheated my way to get here. But at least you can see where the floor is now. Clearly I didn't get very far. I was wrong about it being more of an underground temple thing. I think this would have transitioned into some kind of facility. And in fact, this looks a lot like the chicken flu virus. Ow. Look, I did it again. Now this is called the Sanctuary of Fire and Water, which is the same name as a level I made in LittleBigPlanet Vita for a contest that I, of course, didn't win. It didn't start out like this. Also, there's the end of the level up there, which is something I always like to do. Obviously, I never built in a way to get to the end, because I spent much more time painting my logo onto a sign and putting the sun in the sky and the birds in the trees. What happens next, I wonder? Yeah, there we go. So in the original LittleBigPlanet V... Oh, look at that. I even put the same ghost logo in there. Yeah, this is actually nothing like the LittleBigPlanet Vita level I made. I was thinking... At some point, I definitely started remaking that level in this game. I don't know if I still have that anywhere. Maybe I started making it in LittleBigPlanet 2, actually, because it's definitely not this. It's a sort of remake of my old LittleBigPlanet 1 level, but it has the same name as a LittleBigPlanet Vita level, but it doesn't really resemble that one at all. Oh no, okay. There is some fire, or lava, I guess, and some water. The Sanctuary of Fire and Water, the name is a reference to Rayman 2. The reason why it was fire and water, by the way, is because the point of the contest was... I think the contest was called Flipside. I certainly used that word somewhere in the level as a bit of dialogue. And it was supposed to be about opposites, which is why I picked fire and water. And you would use the Creatinator, the helmet that shoots stuff, and at some parts of the level you'd be shooting water to put out fire and lava hazards and stuff like that, and at other points you'd be shooting fire to burn things, which I thought was quite fun. And I think it's probably the best level I've ever made, but I made it in LittleBigPlanet Vita, which means no one's ever played it. And I don't know how far this goes, actually. This is more than I was expecting. Forgot what I said about playing in create mode. This grass texture is really ugly, isn't it? And yeah, even in LittleBigPlanet 3, I was still just using a piston attached to this big bit of ground to do the thing where the ground falls apart. Oh, hello. Yeah, here we go. There's all this stuff. Then you go up here. Of course, the lighting's wrong again because I skipped over the part where the lighting changes. I think maybe somehow there's going to be some water falling in there. I think those wormholes are not part of the level, actually. I could have skipped to this part without going into create. So yeah, there you go. There's some water. That's quite... I would have made this just after the SpongeBob pack came out, I guess, because that's what introduced this sort of localized water that I mentioned before. And also, the most horrific DLC costumes they ever made. See, this is the portal thing again, isn't it? The puzzle room thing. I can never quite get over that. I think that's quite nice the way that fills up. I'm happy with that. Oh god, this looks like some jumping I can't be bothered to do. Look at this. I never stopped using pistons. What is this for? Oh yeah, here we go. Very slowly falling water, very quickly filling up. That's not very realistic. But yeah, I guess that's extinguished the lava that was in that area. So it's safe to get the points there if you want to. Oh, look at that. It pushes it up instead of... Oh, that's quite nice, actually. Oh my god. Look at all of this. Oh, can you jump in here? Yeah, look at that. You can swim. That's cute. What is this? I guess this was my modern equivalent of the collectible thing. What is that? Oh my god, look at all this stuff. You grab this and nothing happens. There's so much logic in this area. I thought something must happen. I think that's some kind of power thing, some ability that may not necessarily work. Oh no, wait a minute. I think it's something like you can like absorb. Yeah, there you go. Oh, look at that. Whoa. You can like turn it into a bubble that you can fly around in and then deposit it somewhere else. Oh my god. That's amazing. Why didn't I finish this? Same thing again here. Yeah, look at that. You take all the water and then you can carry this heavy ball over to here and drop it in and it drops down. And then what? You put the water in this section and it drops down further and the door opens. And then I never did anything else. Confusingly, this level is called Escape from the Sanctuary of Fire and Water. Oh, look at that. I did it again. There's the level exit straight away. I was looking at this earlier. I think this might be the most recent version of this idea. The last time I tried doing the spoilers, escape from a hole you fall into underground, because I did a few more crazy things with this. Even this sign in the background, I was looking at it earlier. This is why I never ever finished anything in this game, because I put so much attention to detail into these tiny little things that are totally pointless. Why is there a microchip on it? Well, this is a slide. There's batteries attached to it that have different percentages. This is at 80%. This is a layer mover. This is a way to get things very precisely positioned in between different layers. Why did I... Oh, once you put in batteries and microchips on the signs in the background of a level, you're never going to finish that level. There's Swoop eating a pizza. That's a reference to something that never got finished either. Oh, I remember now. Yeah, this is slightly different. This doesn't... Well, you'll see. Oh. Look at this. It's a cutscene. But it's like in 3D. And then that's the point where the ground opens, I guess. Nothing in this level is connected up properly. But you can see I was a bit more ambitious with this. I had cutscenes. I think maybe if I press this other button over here, the next thing will happen. Oh, here we go. Look at this. Look at this. 3D falling. Collecting these rings. Oh my god, how far am I going? How did I achieve this? I don't even know. It's a lot of emitters, I think. This was always supposed to be like the definitive version of this idea, I think. I really wanted to do a lot of crazy stuff with this level. And I don't think I ever did more than that. Nothing else beyond that. I spent so much time on that beginning bit. And I put in the cutscenes and like the skydiving section. And then I just never made a level at the other end of it. I mean, look at this. This is the falling down the thing section. Look at this. What? Oh, I'm so good at making things in this game. Oh, none of that's even physical. Okay, let's move on onto another idea that I tried to get off the ground several times. This is one that also goes all the way back to LittleBigPlanet 1. Although I don't think I have any footage of the very first version of this that I started making. I don't know why, but I always wanted to make a series of levels about pirates. I think even before the Pirates of the Caribbean thing came out, I think before water was in the game, I think this must be a LittleBigPlanet 3 version. And again, I started very ambitiously. Without any real idea of what I was doing, I made the opening to this level series and then didn't get much further. And I've made at least 3 or 4 different versions of this pirate burying some treasure that you're going to have to eventually find with his plastic spade. I think that's fun, actually. Also, that tree made out of cones and things, that's inspired by Lego pirates, which is just one of my favourite things in general. I think pirates are cool. And look at this! He's rowing his boat with a knife. The transition from the map to the real thing, the thing going in the thing, and oh look, it's raining. Oh my god, a storm. Oh my god. Captain Sackbeard, no! Oh, spooky. Okay, here's another level. I wonder what this is going to be. I think this is a later version of the Pirates idea. Oh, I made some really cool cutscenes for level series that never went anywhere. Why did I ever bother making levels? I should have just I should have just done something like make LittleBigPlanet the movie. What a great idea that would have been. This is something else from one of those pirate projects. Yeah, there's not much going on, I don't think. Well, guess what? I found another one of these. And this one is just called Escape from the Underground Temple of Destiny. Here's my signs. Not 3D this time though, so I'm expecting it to be less interesting than the last one I showed. This is quite nice actually. Maybe this is a later version. Sun is shining. There he is in his tree. Oh my god. Okay, what's going to happen here? Oh, I've got a horrible feeling. Once again, I just made the opening and nothing else. Why did I keep making the same thing over and over again? And then never continuing. Oh, now this is a level that was always intended to just be a cutscene. But last time I looked at it in-game, it was kind of broken. I don't know what's going to happen when I press this button. Let's swoop. And he's angry. And I think that's it. I do remember at some point a long time ago, I did actually post what I had of this cutscene thing on Twitter. I'll find that video and I'll put it in here now. And tell me what you think happens next in the story, because I don't remember what the intention was. This is a level called Bubble Trouble. This is nice. I like that. There he is. I don't remember if this is before or after the level with the oh look, it's Dr. Ard with the magic bubble power. Either I made that gimmick for that temple level and then decided I liked it enough to do something else with it after I failed to get very far with that, or I made this one first and then decided to recontextualize it and use it as an excuse to make another one of those temple levels. Let's see how far I got with this one. Again, it's the same thing. It's Portal, even more so this time. It's the rooms, it's puzzles. It's the same puzzles that was in the temple level. I think I probably did the temple one after, because you could like suck up the water, and in this level I think it was intended to be like a permanent power through the whole thing. There we go. You've just been introduced to my more intelligent and successful cousin, Dr. Ard. Popsicle Planet. This is not, in fact, really a level. This is something that was made while I was live streaming once, about 10 years ago. Just me and a few other people just messing around, and this is what came from it. You might recognize this little guy from earlier. This is horrific, but that piece of music, this is one of those occasions when I don't know who made what in this level. I could go back and check, because I still have the footage from that live stream from 10 years ago. But what I can tell you for certain is that this piece of music was all me. Later on, someone else sort of remixed, covered this song, I guess, not knowing its origin as the theme tune to Popsicle Planet, but knowing its connection to me. That person named the song What the Heck is Gorpoo? A fun reference for anyone who, oh hello, who knows what that means, which is not many people anymore. This is where you're supposed to fly to, I think. This is why it's called Popsicle Planet, is because of these characters here. Oh my god. So I found this level called N, and I wasn't sure what it was going to be, but then I just walked over here, and I think I realised, I think you may be able to tell what I was thinking about doing with this one. Oh my god. Almost every other level that's on my moon currently, and every slot is full by the way, is just called unnamed level, and it'll take me years to explore all of them to see if there's anything else interesting there. So I thought I'd do one more level, which was actually finished and published, and because I learned that I had so many issues with like trying to be perfect with all these tiny little details, and I never got around to actually making any levels, this is one that I made, if not entirely in one sitting, then certainly very quickly. I think the video I originally uploaded when I published this level, where I talked about it and went into the behind the scenes, I think that's actually still public, maybe. You can go and hear more about it there. Right now, I'm just going to play it, because I still think it's a good one. I like it. As I said, I like levels that are just platforming, especially when they're a race against the clock, and that's exactly what this is. It starts a bit pretentiously, because I always do that, as you might have gathered from all the things I've shown you. I love Star Wars. I came up with a way to do a Star Wars opening crawl, and then I found an excuse to use it in a level, and that is Space Race. And yes, you can skip the opening crawl, because it's a bit ridiculous. I think whenever it was that I last checked the scoreboard for this, I did have the high score, because I knew all the secrets and the best tricks to get through the level without ever breaking the combo. I don't think I'm going to achieve that now. The low gravity on this is really hard to cope with. I like that Northern Lights effect in the background, that's cool. Oh, look who it is! Yeah, I made this level very quickly, so it's very much gameplay focused. I learned from all my... oh my god, I can't jump. From all my mistakes of spending too long on weird, crazy cutscenes and things like that. I just focused on the gameplay, and that's why this level is so ugly. And all of the details in the background like that are just things I picked from other levels. It's a lot of references to things you would only know. For example, with Popsicle Planet, if you'd watched that one live stream I did in like 2014. But now at least... oh, I saw something else in the background there. Maybe he wasn't dead after all. There's the scoreboard before you can actually get there. There's the gold trophy again. There's Spath. Again, this is one of those things I really like, is when you end up in the background and you see things that you can't get to yet in the foreground. That's another race lost, but again, I'm blaming my broken controller on that. And the low gravity and being in the background really tiny. This is a difficult level, actually. I think it may have only been once ever that I managed to pull off the continuous score combo through the whole of this level. But luckily I did record it. I put that on YouTube. Oh, here we go. This is the Back to the Future hoverboard, which is awesome, and I don't think got used by many people, but it's a lot of fun. Ow. Strange that they made Back to the Future DLC for this game. I guess maybe that it might have come out around the time of Back to the Future Day. Like 2015 was... Oh, I messed up there. If you can jump over the if you can jump over the scoreboard, you can get a lot more points. Like there was a huge stash of points at the start of the level that you can backtrack all the way there using the hoverboard. All the way up here, you see? But yeah, I have made an entire video about this level before, at the time when I made it. So I won't go through all the behind the scenes and the tricks I used to make it now. I think this was the last level I made and published. Could that be true? This was like 8 years ago. Have I really not made a level for 8 years? I guess most of that time I've been playing Crash Bandicoot instead. I think that'll do for now. That's just a few of the bits and pieces I have access to currently. There are some things I won't have a chance to look at again until I can next use my PS3, which doesn't live in the same country as me at the moment. I will have a look back at some of the old, now unlisted videos on my channel to see if there is anything else I recorded in the past that I want to share. Other old levels that I couldn't play today and whatever. I'll put something in the description if there's anything I want to show you. And you know what? Despite the way things have turned out, I'm not going to stop playing these games just yet. Genuinely, right before the news about the servers broke, I was playing LittleBigPlanet 1 on my new computer that I just bought a few days ago because I broke another computer. But this new one is much better at running emulators and games in general than my previous one. So I have been playing the original LittleBigPlanet on it. It's one of those games I will always keep coming back to. And I hope that other people keep playing it too, and keep making stuff, and keep finding ways to share it all. Make a video of all the levels you made. I want to see it. And Sony, fuck you.